All right. Thank you. Thank you, everyone. This meeting is the first inaugural meeting of Irene Menakaya School Advisory Council. Either you're a member of the Advisory Council or you're a representative at the United Nations, either in Geneva or New York or Vienna, or you are a stakeholder on the mission of Irene Menakaya School, which is rooted on early child education, with the motto on my child is my pride. That has been the slogan of the school right from its inception in 1979. By God's grace, the school will be 50 years in 2029. And then the governing council deemed it necessary to pull every stakeholder together in different forms to alert us on the intending program of the school and also see how we can all get involved in uh, continued support to the community on education. As we had on the video presentation, my late parents started this school, Irene Menakaya School, formerly International Nursery and Primary School, when they returned from England in the early 70s after schooling and working in the United Kingdom. They thought it wise to start up an early foundation institution that will help prepare the child, the child in the environment to be like their fellow children overseas. And that was why the school was established. In fact, I pride to say that my late mother was the one that rebranded the early child education east of the Niger. Before it was just a center where you keep your children to play and eat akara balls, we call them Ota Akara Center, But she came and rebranded the education east of the Niger in the present 5 states of Southeast Nigeria to what we have today, making nursery education, early child education, a formal education program in the development of the child. So this gives us the challenge to see the future and to put together the resources they have laid in order to legalize their names. So we continue to be on that level, on the standards they placed, but try to globalize the school. We took it to United Nations, and then we try to immortalize them by starting each year their legacy lecture of what they did towards education in their honor, in trying to celebrate the United Nations Day for Education. And then we also try to implant their vision into the institutions where we honor the child. We provide the encouragement support to children, graduating students from university and institutions. We also try to put parents together by enacting a parental education, by putting up all-round educating parents involved in things that concern their child. They participate in the school activities. They come into the classroom once in a time on the parental class conversation talking points. And they also join in the sports. They do inter-house sports with us and all the rest. So we have what we call the parents' house. So the three arms of education, the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor education, the entire school family, the governing council, the teachers, the parents, and the pupils are all inclusive into what we are doing. And that gives us the reason why we co-opted the United Nations Sustainable Development Goal 4 which is quality and inclusive education for lifelong learning. And then we started that SDG education initiative by having a teachers resources, teachers resource room, teachers professional development, parental education, and even the children we endear them into being holistic in their learning. You know, we introduced exchange program with a school in Bahamas where they do a term. Each class will have a Zoom exchange education, you know, to know what they're doing and exchange ideas and all the rest of them. So the school have maintained its standard and then trying to diversify what our late parents laid together in order to advance the education system that we have in line. We're also very strong with the government because we are fully registered with the state government. We are still registered with federal government of Nigeria. So the school is an entity of its own and then has lived its life on issue of preparing the child for a sustainable future. So I just to give you a background information of the school. So we decided to bring up professionals in education, professionals in technocrats, as we call it in our level, technocrats who can help reposition or restructure the school 50th anniversary for sustainability. We try to bring in some projects into the school. We have a Maureen Brown Fully Foundation for Teachers. We have which other one that I just forgot. We have the school exchange education. I just mentioned it. We have um, we have the sick bay for the health and community health. We have one of the governing council is a pediatrician, and we established the health services in the school. And then also we do outreach, health outreach to the community every term. The school has 3 terms in a year. Every term we send that outreach to every year. Then we also have of course, the legacy lecture, we just heard about it in order to admonish what the founding parents laid down for us. We have Global Teachers Classroom, where we join in the World Teachers Day every October 5 to educate the teachers and all the rest of them. So these are some of the projects that have been, and then in line with bringing the children to the culture, we are establishing this June during the African Day of the Child. We want to commission His Excellency Right Honorable Dr. Philip Finn Children Cultural Day in the school to immortalize his services for support of education and culture in the community. And that will extend into the cultural education, which we want the university that we work with to have an interest in that initiative. So without wasting more time, I hand over to Dr. Bannister to moderate the program accordingly. Thank you. So let me see. Some people are having challenge coming in.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, good afternoon, good day to each and every one of you based on where you're joining from.
Sorry, Dr. Bannister is the chief representative of the school to United Nations. Thank you.
Well, Dr. Ada just give my my introduction for me. So at this time, what I'll do, I'll just ask everyone to unmute your mic and introduce yourself and which entity you're representing from as well.
Good morning.
Good morning, Doc.
Good morning, Dr. Ada. Pleasant good morning to you, all the distinguished personnels. Good morning, afternoon, wherever you are. I am Ambassador Professor Arlene Bowen Greenfield. I'm an educator here in New York, and I will be serving the school in the capacity of an advisor. And I'm really looking forward to that opportunity. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Her Excellency. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Who do we have next?
Okay. Good afternoon from Nigeria. My name is Osita Anyemeka. I am the president of the Sub-Saharan Open University. Sub-Saharan Open University has adopted Irene Menakaya School as our demonstration school. And also, I am the chairman of the Juni Menakaya Legacy Lectures. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Next.
Good morning, everyone, or good afternoon, wherever you may be, or good day, as Dr. Bannister says. My name is Dr. Michael Biasini. I am one of the members of the Education Advisory Council, but I'm also a member of the United Nations in Geneva. I am an educator, I've been an educator for 25 years. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Dr. Michael. Dr. Osita, if you don't mind me asking, is someone joining using your link? No.
Yes, don't mind is
Okay, okay, I got you. I got you. Okay. And then we have the other three members who are still in attendees mode. I think you have Mommy Christie and you have Professor Emeka and Chuma as well. Okay. All right. Dr. Ada, do we have the organigram? I can't hear you if you're speaking to me, Dr. Ada.
Sorry, Dr. Jide, who is supposed to do the presentation, is having challenges coming in from UK. So I've just sent him back the link to his email. So
Okay.
then go ahead.
Okay. So, well, everyone knows who the advisory council and representative are for the school. So we've already introduced ourselves, each and every one of us, in retrospect to that. Because at the same time, I think if there's more, Dr. Ada, the same person was supposed to be doing that too.
On which one?
The advisory council and representatives, other than those of us that's here.
Hold on, please. See this one. Yes, just the introduction. I was supposed to do the introduction. That just have the introduction, right? Yes. So that's it. The advisory council and representative, what we are supposed, if I remember that the discussion on this, what are we supposed to do as, okay, thank God that Dr. Jide is in. What are we supposed to do as members of the advisory council? Of course, those doing representation at the UN, always involved with the UN programs with respect to the school program. And then the advisory council that is to advise, of course, by the name advisory, is to provide guidance, provide mentorship, provide information where necessary to advance the mission of the school. And then I've mentioned before on the mission of the school to educate the child from early years. In fact, the school is open to children from 3 months to 12 years, and then you can imagine starting the early education. By the time they're 2 years, they already learn some vocabulary. They already began to know that they are in the school to advance their future. So that's exactly what we need to do. So the school has three, we have the early child, we have the nursery education, we have the primary education. These are the basic education. And all these three segments are rooted on the three arms of education, the cognitive, the affective, and the psychomotor education. So, and that's all and again, another thing that we do is to motivate these children, like providing resources, prizes, honorarium to best child in certain fields, best all-round child, and we encourage them to do. At times, we try to get encouraging soccer from outside by getting someone to sponsor a school fees for a term in order to encourage parents that what the school can do in trying to achieve My Child is My Pride initiative. So these are what we have been doing all these years in the school. And I want to believe that as advisory, and this body will be able to put in some ideas that can strengthen the school in preparation for the 50th anniversary. Because the school management, I'm trying to have the school director to come in. The school management have decided that from this 2025, they will be doing activities to prepare for the 50th anniversary. So whatever we are doing now, like this meeting, for instance, is already part of the pre-50th anniversary event. So we are trying to get every part included into the anniversary, because 50 years is not 50 hours or 50 days. It's a long process, and it has faced challenges, it has successes, it filled in gaps. And I was giving testimony yesterday about how a pupil who graduated, who started with Irene Menakaya School, was invited at the Economic Forum at United Nations. And when his bio was read, one of the things that he started his early education at International Nursery and Primary School on Nature, and I was in the room, and I know International was the former name of the school. It was when my parents passed that would change the name to my mother's name, So, and after at the end of the section, I went, that was in 2012. I went to meet him, and he was shocked. He carried me and was introducing me to the UN people that invited him. It was the school that made me what I am. It was her mother. He was telling her how he was staying. My mother would take him home, and he would refuse to go home. All those things. So it's a very big. It's historic, and that if we can put things together to make sure that the 50th anniversary reckons the spirit that it was started, especially in addressing the education of children in the environment, which was the vision or the mission of the late founders. Because when they returned, they said they want to start a school that will prepare the children in the community to be like their fellow children overseas. And that's what we are trying to do.
Okay, so I'm going to step out on a limb here.
Yeah,
And,
Dr. Jide is now in.
Okay, Dr. Gidi, do you please go ahead? Please go ahead, Dr. Gidi.
Just give me like 2 minutes if you want to make a comment, and I just need to switch my phone. Thank you, everybody. Good morning. I'm Jide Menakaya. I'm one of the school directors. I just need to switch my computer. So if you give me about a couple of minutes, I'll do that, and I will come on. Is that okay? Sorry. Is that okay? Can you hear me okay?
Yes. Okay.
It's just been difficult logging in. I'm so sorry.
No problem. All right. So what I was going to say in regards to stepping out on a limb, Dr. Ada, would the school, and I think maybe Dr. Gidi might be answering this question. Do they already have a plan of activities and different things that they want to do for the 50th anniversary outlined? I know you said it's going to start from this year. If so, what would be the first thing for this year? When would that be? Because in a way like that, it wouldn't. It would be. It, it wouldn't be wise for us as the advisory to at the same time now propose stuff when the school itself might already have some things, or the directors themselves might have some things. So in a way like that, the advisory council now, we can meet on the side, come up with some things as well, or try to give some additional directions to what is already prepared, so we can come back to y'all with something more concrete.
Yeah, what we are trying to do, we have not yet come up, because that's why we are bringing in segments to come up with ideas. Even though the school has uh, uh, decided to enact action on their usual school programs to make it pre-anniversary program from this year, and that's what the school is doing. So whatever the school is doing right now is in line with preparation for the 50th anniversary. As we see on the program, we are looking at of course, the legacy lectures will still continue, and Professor Obiozo is here to tell us more about the partnership with the university and what we have been doing all these years on this legacy lecture. We're also going to continue on a project that we call the Community Library Project. One of the visions is to set up a community library project in the state, in the community, not national, where to encourage sustainability of reading and writing, advancing it. And there are some communities, schools in a community. There is a university in that. There is a modern secondary school that was just launched last August, that the board, is also planning of donating books to those institutions in order to encourage community education. So some of these things are just what do I put it out? None have been concluded. So like advisory council will come up with an idea, with the board will now, the governing council will now look at and see how to adopt it into the legacy program. But what we tend to do is that, because of the numerous activities, we want to spread them out, so that day in 2029, we wouldn't put everything together. It would be worrisome in many capacities. So, but we have to start it in segments. Like this year, we are launching the Dr. Finn African Cultural Children Day. We are launching it on June 17th at the school. And they're inviting the Ministry of Education. They're also trying to see if they can invite the First Lady of the state and all the rest of them. So if that one done, that streamlines it, then we look for another one. Every activity which they have every term, which is a term of 3-4 months, they have one pre-anniversary event in the school. So the school management has already what do I call it? Stand out in preparing for the 50th anniversary. Dr. Jide, your screen is not looking good.
I hope you can hear me. My apologies.
Yeah,
it's the light behind you, Dr. GD. You have to either close the window or go to a dark spot behind you in order for the backdrop to be effective.
So
Otherwise,
that is, and then we have My Child is My Pride.
Doctor, I know you went through it already. All right. So let's hear from Dr. GD, and then we'll take it from there.
Still trying to organize himself.
Okay, sorry. Are you able to allow me to share? I'm sorry, I don't.
Yes, you have a sharing right. And go ahead.
Thank you. I'm really grateful to everyone who's joining this afternoon. I'm Jide Menakaya. I'm a pediatrician based in the UK. I'm sorry about the connection issues this afternoon. I know it's quite early in the morning in New York, so I'm really grateful to colleagues who are joining. I just caught the last end of the conversation just now about the International and now Irene Menakaya School, a school that is now is 45 was founded in 1979, so 46 years today, and aiming to its 50th anniversary. In the last 10 years, we've had a number of initiatives, including, as we've just heard, yearly and annual lectures. He also has got a UN status over the last five years. So I'm really grateful, particularly to Prof, who has just spoken, and everyone else who's been working to support this school and moving forward as it goes into the next half century. So this is a beginning of a process of really preparing for what I hope will be a milestone event for the school as it continues to progress and develop children in southeastern Nigeria. I just wanted to show you just the beginnings of which I wanted to get my screen shared. The beginnings of the way we want to organize the way we work with this school, and how your input will be incredibly valued moving forward. And I hope you can all see. I hope you can all see my slides. Sorry, I don't know if you can.
Yeah, we can see it.
So just need to. So for a lot of colleagues who've been on this call and who've been working with my sister, Professor Ada, you would know that we do have, an organization, an international foundation, which is named after our parents, Barrister Junior and Irene Menakaya Foundation. And underneath that is the school, which we, as we've heard, looks after children from 6 months.
Can you raise your voice a bit? Sorry.
I don't know. Is that better?
Much better.
Is that better? Thank you. Okay. So at the overarching organization that supports, the school and everything else we do is our international foundation. So it's just the beginnings of trying to develop an organogram, and I'll come to where the council fits into this. And within that is the foundation board and the team, then the school's foundation, and the sort of our effort to maintain our links with the UN in terms of the status we have there. So that's really, and the foundation looks after those aspects. The school then has its own board of directors, a school management system, and all the various projects that it is doing. And I think that when we developed this organogram, and this was, I think, a few years ago, the 50th anniversary hadn't come on board at that time. So we're certainly at the very beginnings of what is a seminal and really impactful moment in childhood education in Nigeria. So really important that the expertise within this group is able to shape that conversation, shape the activities we are going to do between now and moving up to the 50th anniversary. So it will certainly be a two-way thing. That two-way would necessarily highlight what is available within Nigeria. I'm sorry, I just need to do this properly. Sorry. What is available within Nigeria, but also the aspirations of the school that will be shaped by what's available internationally, so, and what's available globally. So, and I would like to think that what the aspiration we certainly have for the school is not to keep it And as we heard about the story of that doctor, of that patient, of that student who is now global in his work around the world, he started off in a small school in Onitsha, in Anambra State. So what we want to do is to have that two-way conversation with you, with your skill set, your expertise, the action that what we know that works, and certainly we as the board of directors and people who want to keep this momentum going, who then want to shape the thinking of the school in terms of how we want to carry those things out, so that together we have a shared purpose, shared agenda, shared aspiration that in 2029 we can deliver successfully. Thank you.
Okay. Dr. Bannister, are you there?
One second, please. I've been trying to locate my charger because my phone is about to die and I don't have my computer with me. Sorry.
I hope you all heard me okay. Sorry, I wasn't sure.
Yes, we heard you clearly.
Okay, thank you. At the bottom here is some of the projects we've been talking about, but I think within this we need to include the 50th anniversary project. So I think this is something we want to develop again, working with you, but you can see certainly that the advisory council has a significant role to play as we develop this next phase, this next 5-year plan and moving forward.
Yeah, it's like Dr. Bannister is still having challenges with his phone. Can I call in the school director, Mrs. Christie, the school executive director, to share on the management and daily activities? I will call her mom. Mommy, are you there? Hello? Okay. Yeah, Professor Biozo, can you share on the project with the about how far we've gone with the university on the endowment trust?
Okay. Good morning, everyone. And good afternoon to those in Nigeria. My name is Menakaya Biozo. I'm glad to be here. We started a project with Irene Menakaya School for some time now, a couple of years, with the Department of Adult and Continuing Education at Nnamdi Azikiwe University, Awka, Anambra State, Nigeria, where they were supporting students in the department with a kind of an award to the best graduating student. And from there, we now matured into working with the Faculty of Education in the university, which is a project that we just initiated this year. As a matter of fact, yesterday we had a meeting, online meeting, Zoom meeting with the representatives of the Faculty of Education, Professor Ngozi Anyikwa, led by Professor Ngozi Anyikwa and Dr. Chinenye Amonye. These two persons form the Committee for Faculty of Education Linkages and Collaboration Project. Professor Anyikwa happened to be the chairperson, and Dr. Chinenye the secretary. Well, I am kind of a friend to the school and a consultant to the school, as well as the member of the advisory board. Professor Ada and I has gone a long way in working to see that Irene Menakaya School has a facelift, especially with regards to the coming 50th anniversary. So in principle, the Faculty of Education at Nnamdi Azikiwe University has accepted to work with the school. As a matter of fact, an MOU is being put together for that purpose. Part of what we intend to do with the school is to send students for teaching practice, which we usually send third-year students to different schools in Anambra State for the practical teaching experience. So we are working towards that. We're also working towards having some training and seminar orientations for teachers with regards to the latest teaching and learning strategies, globally accepted strategies. We're also looking forward to organizing some projects that involves uplifting the image of the school, as well as promoting the Igbo culture in the school. As you all would know, Irene Menakaya School is located in the heart of Igbo land in Onitsha. And with regards to what's going on in the society now, there's a need for us to keep promoting the Igbo culture, engaging students to learn how to speak, especially the young ones, as well as promoting the moral principles of our culture and so on and so forth. So that program is what Irene Menakaya is putting together. And once that comes up, we have our own plan to make sure that the Faculty of Education, as well as the Department of Igbo, Asian, and African Studies will be fully involved in that program. Looks like, hello, can you hear me?
We can hear you. We can hear
Huh?
you. We can hear you.
Okay, good. So why I suggested the Igbo department is because a former head of department of that department, Professor Linda Nkamibo, happened to be an alumnus of this great school we are talking about, the Irene Menakaya School. I remember having a discussion with her some time ago. She showed interest in seeing how best she can work with us to ensure that the goals and aspirations of the school is being promoted. So far, so good. We are doing our best to see what we can do with the school. As far as I'm concerned, I am very close to the school and also close to the professor, Adam Menakaya. Not long ago, sometime last year, I was invited to the institution she also works with, the Thika University and Seminary in Orlando. I was there to make a presentation, and I'm looking forward to also having Thika University play some roles in that school. I believe they have already started because I have seen some of the advisory board members that I met when I was in Orlando, Florida last year. So on this note, I want to encourage all of us to continue the good work we are doing with the school and to the memory of the late proprietress. Finally, I also have to thank my boss, my mentor, Dr. Osita Nyemeka. See you there. My Oga, as we say in Igbo land, I greet you, sir. Ndewo.
Thank
Thank
you.
you very much.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
thank you. Thank you, Professor Biozo, for that. You have been an instrument to bringing this endowment trust with the university. And ever since, even while you were the head of Department of Adult Education, you were sending
Head of
student teachers,
department, but a professor in the department,
a professor in the department, you were
and
sending,
Director Center for
uh,
Disabilities.
yes, you were sending students to do teaching practice in the school. And there are certain times you organize exchange program between the school and this university staff school. And also, of course, you've been an instrument to starting the teachers' professional development in the school, which you do every holiday. So we appreciate what you are doing, and to whom much is given, much more is it much is expected, right? So I'm not
No,
going to
now more will be given to
more,
him.
no, not to give you, it's expected. So I'm not going to tell you thank you because I expect more. Thank you so much. So that's all how far we've gone with the endowment in the school, and we've been trying to support. The school is trying to do all they can to plant some of these legacies in order to ensure that the mission, the purpose for its establishment did not die, because the parents are gone, the founders are gone. So, and more efforts are needed, like the College of Education had once told me that our late mother was one of the member of the governing council of the school. We should start something on her name in the school. We said, okay, it's a very good idea. And then we are still planning to also put something across in that dimension. So without wasting more time, I want to call on Dr. Osita, who has been, in fact, he developed the legacy lectures with me. And then we advance it every of January 24th, where we celebrate the United Nations Day of Education, and also extended it to Sitada. So I need Dr. Prince, His Excellency, or Dr. Osita, to give us insight on what the school has been doing in that dimension.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much, Professor Juni. And thank you, Professor Obiozo. Obiozo was my classmate and my roommate in Cambridge. Thank you, because I am proud and very happy that I became involved with Irene Menakaya School a long time ago, while I ran the CBN program in Umuahia, the Central Bank of Nigeria Entrepreneurship Development Program. I visited Irene Menakaya School several times to raise awareness of the students on how to combine at early age, conventional schooling and skills development. And ever since then, it's been a very unique experience for me. Myself and Professor Juni, we also have been able to develop approaches to help use the legacy opportunities of legacy lectures to raise very convenient and very professional status of all the teachers. What the Sub-Saharan University is offering Irene Menakaya School now is to begin the Teachers Capacity Development Program, TCDP. That means that every term, SSOU will visit to be, to keep upgrading the capacity, capability, and competency of the teachers to be able to,
I bet you didn't know.
to be able to train and teach Gen Zs. Most of the problems that teachers have now is that they don't even know the the children that they are teaching. They don't understand the capacity of the children they are teaching. Most times, the children come more advanced than the teachers that are teaching them. So what Irene Menakaya School is evolving now to the benefit of the students and their parents is to create, a groundswell of very well-grounded teachers that will take the students from point of entry, to point of exit. So yes, Irene Menakaya School is topmost in our calendar at SSOU, and we create the opportunities for us to develop a lot more for the school. Thank you. Thank you, Professor Juni.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Dr. Osita. And the issue about teachers, of course, we all know that teachers' issue in the education system in Africa is downtrodden. And what the SSOU tend to do is a very great loss to the teachers. In fact, a French school was telling me that she would like her teachers in her school to be part of it. So what me and you is going to do is to plan how to have a community teachers capacity building training very soon, probably in the summer, to see how we can bring all of them together.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much in that dimension. And I'm trying to bring in the school director. She's still on attendees and she cannot speak from there. If she doesn't come inside the room, I don't know the challenges. Maybe she's busy with, Saturday is always, weekend is always busy in Nigeria. It's either one thing or the other. So, but what so far so good, we've been able to hear some outlets that the school had been doing. So now we need to open the discussion, let contributions on how we can move forward, what our advisory moments and how we can advance in preparation for this anniversary. So the floor is open. We have educators, we have ambassadors, we have globally experienced people here on the platform. What is your idea in trying to prepare for this anniversary? I can see a hand up. Dr. Jide, can you come up on camera? I see your hand up. Yeah.
Thank you again for this. It's really exciting to hear some of the developments going on globally, but also locally as well. The effort to train our next generation of teachers with the next generation of students. So Irene Menakaya School, like we say, works with babies from 6 months to 18 years or 16 years. That's the grade secondary school. So it's really great to hear that there is something happening. And I think that, and of course, we just heard about using that center as a way to train the next generation of teachers, the Gen Zs, the teachers that can teach the Gen Zs. We know that pedagogy, child pedagogy is different from adult pedagogy. And therefore, how do we manage that in the context of children now who have access to so much information that, like you said, actually are much more informed than their teachers? How do we guide them? So I think there is something here about how do we help shape the next generation or the next curriculum for children? How do we shape that? I'd be interested from the educationists here how that is done. Secondly, how do we communicate to the wider world and the local environment about the work the school is doing? And then thirdly, how do we ensure that the expertise in this room and the network that this school, this that we have in this room is actually able to act for the school to also access that expertise and networks moving forward. So I think that would be the area I think that the council should be able to work on with the direction of these people to move forward.
Thank you so much. And Her Excellency Dr. Irene, please come up before
Good
we can.
and good morning. And I thank you so much for the opportunity to share, Dr. Ada. And I am extremely grateful to hear all the good work, the great work that the school has been doing with the students who have been excelling. And I know the struggles that we also have as educators. And being an educator myself for over 35 years, I do understand where teachers can struggle. And where my strength is with teachers, working with teachers. And one of the things that, well, there are many things that we can look at as we look into the 50th anniversary and going into how do we invest in teacher development. So because sometimes we know teachers feel overworked, underpaid, and unsupported. So, what kind, and I know the university is working with them, but how can we bring additional teacher development, professional development to them so they're more prepared? And one of the passions I have, Dr. Ada, is working with special needs children. That's my passion.
Yes.
Yes. And I know that sometimes it's hard to even recognize, and the struggles that the kids have, they're not necessarily classified. However, if we have strategies that can work with those students, that's a great way to move the school. And so I see an opportunity for bringing in that aspect of professional development and training for the staff with as far as dealing with not just the Gen Z, but especially that subgroup of special needs students that are often overlooked. Another area that we can focus on too is the curriculum. Look at how is the curriculum still up to date to meet the needs of the students? How can we address the curriculum as educators and professionals? Can we ensure that these curriculum are focused on critical thinking, creativity, and real-world experiences and skills that will, how much technology is incorporated in that modern teaching that they're doing. And infrastructure is something that we can look at again as a way of moving forward in this 50th anniversary. And of course, I know you mentioned the Honorable Dr. Finn will be doing some collaborative work with the culture. And I think that's a great move to do that as well, because that's part of how do we, foster collaborative culture within, not just within the school itself, but it's global. And we're looking for community engagement. So some of the community engagement, that we can look at is how we involve the community in making helping in the decision-making process within the school, create partnership with local businesses and organizations to build school initiatives. And of course, we have to address the issue of equity within our school as well, and see how we can find resources and opportunities to ensure that the equitable education becomes access to all the students. So those are just some areas that we can focus on for the 50th anniversary. But as I said, my strength is I can do many things, but I would love to work with those teachers training. I would love to know how much is the university helping teachers and preparing them for that special population, because that's where sometimes we fall short and they're overlooked. Thank you so much for the opportunity.
Thank you, Your Excellency. That's a very good dimension you brought, just like the SSOU Osita mentioned about teachers. Teachers' development and training, capacity building is very important because um, if the school director has spoken, she will let us know what it takes her to supervise them in order to still maintain the standard of the school. She marks note of lesson, corrects the teachers, be on the spot correction. At times we invite unexpected check, from neutral person to be on the spot to check the teachers in the classroom. Because all these things is not make the school different from public schools. That is why they are private schools. So these are what have been in place. So, and then there's another member who has I think she's on the air to Nigeria last night. She would have been here. Anytime she goes to Nigeria from New Jersey, she goes to the school to organize training for the teachers. And then she runs a daycare center in New Jersey. So these are the areas that we've been trying to expose them to move them up. And of course, I don't sleep. In fact, if you wake me up 3 a.m., I'm awake because of the school, because we try to be on with each other. So just as you said, and Dr. Jide said, we need to improve again on this aspect so that there will be something new after 50 years that we have come a long way with. Then you mentioned the issue about the special needs. Now, one of the things that we have a school sick bay in the school, thanks to Dr. Jide, because as a pediatrician, he found it important. We need to establish the health in the school. And then we have a visiting doctor, visiting school nurse, children nurse into the school. And anytime he travels to Nigeria, he also visit the school health and all the rest of it. So one of the days it was a parent didn't know that the daughter has hard of hearing, at home. So at times you'll be calling the child will not answer. She will be hitting the child terribly, thinking that the child was stubborn. It was in the school that we found that that child had hard of hearing, and that was what causes her not to be answering. And that was under 5 years.
Yeah.
So we began, Jide gave a medical guideline, who to meet and all the rest of them. But by the time it was corrected, the child was okay. So if not, the child would have grown up to be a special needs child. So these are some of the things the school has been in place in all these years. So thank you for bringing it up. It's also in our agenda as well. Your Excellency, Dr. Michael, so the floor is yours, my good friend.
Thank you very much for allowing me to speak here. And I just want to bounce off the excellent ideas that Ambassador Greenfield just stated. I am also a special ed teacher, been one for 25 years. And my particular job is what they call transition. So what that means is my job is to take the special needs student and train them for jobs out in the community. And that's where someone that's a challenge, but it's also a great benefit. And I feel like if this school can teach jobs from whatever age, I don't know what age, you're young kids right now, but they can learn the jobs in the community and therefore be a valuable member of that society. Whether they're special needs or general population, it doesn't really matter. But they work together as a group and actually, use that group to become productive members of that society. I also want to say that I am also, been in education for 25 years. And one of the things I've been doing for the past 3 years is gathering books um, for that are not being used necessarily in my campus anymore or whatever, and donating them to schools around the area, around the world per se. I've done like 3,400 books, and I got in my garage. I still have another 500 or 600 books ready to be donated. The value of those things is I am blessed where I am. I'm in the United States. I can get a book anytime I want. But in some parts of Africa, as we know, they don't have the availability of those textbooks. And so it doesn't really matter what level it is, whether it's pre-K, third grade, doesn't really matter. the value of those books is a big thing for some people around the world. So, I agree with Dr. Greenville, is that, if we can get books or materials or even technology sent, I wish we could say, hey, we would like to donate X amount of money towards technology for the school, so that they have, they're up on the technology thing. So I'm just throwing it out there just for the group.
Thank you, Your Excellency. Thank you for that. In fact, I think Dr. Banista, the Michael had 6,000 books they had already donated, which is still in storage. And the challenge we have is funding to take it back to Nigeria. And those books, I wish they can be in the Nigeria in the next 1 week, because there are places that the books will be donated to. And these have been our main challenge, funding to send the book. The books are there. And then the school is also in need of resources, as Dr. Griffith said, resources for teachers, like teaching aids, teaching charts, to wall charts, learning materials, audios, laptops, all those things that we need, especially now that the school has a computer center, but the computers are not enough for all the school. You can imagine having 40 computers for 265 children. It's not enough. So these are the issues that the school is having. And funding is the major problem, but we were striving because, one, the school is institution, teachers are paid, the school is maintained, infrastructure is maintained, other things is also in need in the school. So if we keep on relying on the school, especially with this poor exchange in Nigeria, it's going to be too heavy on the school. So at times when we have things that we cannot do, we keep quiet. So that's one of the challenges. So the books are still there in the storage. Meanwhile, money is being wasted, money is taking over, and also challenges of gathering all the money. That this book is about 9,000, I think Dr. Banista, $9,000 to $10,000 to take them to the school, because take them from the states to Nigeria in Lagos, and from Lagos to the east where to the school. All these were calculated by the cheaper, and it's I think $9,800 and something dollars. Just call it $10,000. But then I don't know about that, because they change according to exchange rate of Nigeria. Yes, Your Excellency, your hand is up.
Yes, I was just thinking, as an afterthought while I was sharing earlier, I missed the opportunity to say that for the 50th anniversary, if we can make like a significant change or add something that's going to bring about a significant improvement within the school, that can be like a milestone. So my thought was, I know probably it's not established yet, but if we can establish a wing where we have, as Ambassador Biasini said earlier, where we have the students, it's more like an extension where we have the skill training added to the school. So there is a small mini campus where the students will do, when they get to a certain grade, usually probably 10, they can take on a skill. And those skills, so you could start with certain skills. Probably the most common ones in the community might be electrical, mechanic, whatever it is, cosmetology, or just some skills, like a skill training department where they will spend most of the day in school, but those who have interest in skill training can now gain some basic skills before they exit 12th grade. So that's one thing. And another component is that if we can add an inclusive classroom where the teachers who teach in that particular classroom, because it will be now 2 teachers in that particular classroom will be trained to deal with some of these students, whether or not they're classified special needs students, but those who struggle and need that support system. So if we can establish something tangible, either we do the extension for the training, the skills training, or we put an inclusive classroom, especially for the early learners, or we could do both depending on funding. But those are ideas that can be funded. We can seek grants to put those in, but we have a few years to go. So if we can start planning those early and then put in place now, how do we acquire the funds to build that extra classroom, to have that inclusive, or that extra building to make sure we have some skills training to offer to those who want to take the skills before they exit high school.
Wow. Thank
That
you
is
so much. Yeah, that's very good, Ambassador. So we need to explore on that as soon as we can. Because right now, the school infrastructure, like there was a time the rain, the wind blew off the school, the entire administrative block. That was when the books, the computer were all destroyed by flood. So we have to dig the place. So we still have a need, financial need to take the upbuilding of that place and all the rest. So the school is still under the dig, of that. So there's still funding needed. And then I take my mind back to what you are talking about, skills training. We do have skill training, exposing the children to skill knowledge in our own little way. Like we can invite, I know we invite a parent to come and teach them how to make a pastry, like the school director teaches them how to make pastries skills, how to do sewing, how to knit sweater, and all the rest of them. Then a parent can engage a parent to bring his car to teach them about the engine of the car and all the rest of them. And that would do what in fact, one of those became engineers, when we are all those things. So these are the kind of things we do. And then we also take them to grandparents' enlightenment education, where they need to enlighten them some of the cultural norms and beliefs and rearing practice and all the rest of them. So we do these skills in their own little way because of the age of the children, But then it's still needed because they need the diversity. We take them to my uncle's hospital to teach them about different sections of the hospital and what they want. And a lot of fact, to be frank with you, 90% of the products from this school is either a medical doctor, an engineer, an attorney, or business skills. So it's been as if their careers are rooted in these major fields, engineers, different form of engineers, and all doing well in everything. So we are trying, but then, as you said, we need to create a small mini campus that can also within the school that can consolidate these skills acquisition areas. Thank you. Yeah. If there's no other contribution from anyone, I hand over to, before I do that, I want to let you know. So this is what we are putting together, like advisory council has a chapter on this, and that's why we need to be what word do I need to put together this council. This is one of a major book, My Child is My Pride project. We want to have and launch it on the 50th anniversary. So everything that we are doing here, the report and everything will be a chapter on this book. And then, as I said, the pictures are not looking so good because of the screen. But we'll see how, maybe in another meeting, how it be. Some of us are not on camera. Yes, a chapter there has to come to the advisory council. This body has a chapter, and everything we are doing will be on this book. So this book has been worked by the School Governing Council. We started working on it since 2010, and the book is now getting to this level that we need to put everything about the school into this book and commission it and launch it on that 20th, 29th, 50th anniversary. So this is one of the 50th anniversary project, and it has to do so. The UN representations has to also have a chapter. The community projects, activities of the school, all has to be included in this book, and then we'll get it ready to be launched out as usual. You can see the image of the child carrying a hoe. That'll tell you the kind of skills, because the school has a farm in the school compound where the children go to do their farm work as well, and they harvest plantains, they harvest vegetables, they harvest corn before the end of the academic section. So these are trying to expose them in diversity, because what we're doing is holistic education, all inclusive. Remember, the SDG says quality and inclusive education for lifelong learning. So we are putting that into practical terms. Dr. Vanessa, over to you.
All right. Thank you very much, Dr. Ada. Thank you very much, everyone, for your inputs, suggestions, and recommendations. To Dr. I know Dr. Bicini knows this, but Dr. Greenfield, Her Excellency, I'm not sure if you know this, but I also teach special ed. But I did special ed along the line of severe and profound students. And then at the same time, I still do the transition portion, and then I try to incorporate a little bit of the arts, music, and all of those different things with my students. But for all of us, one of the things that, some of the things that we need to take into consideration, we need to ponder upon, we need to think about leading up to the 50th anniversary. And not just the 50th anniversary, but the current state and current situations. Now, across the board, each of us, and this is just my closing remarks here, basically, for us moving forward, because I know the time is well spent. For all of us, we have been graced, with the privilege of representing Irene Menakaya School in the United Nations. So it's not just being a part of the advisory council, but it's also being one of their main representatives. And we all understand how the ECOSOC system works, how each organization have to do the necessary in order to retain their accreditation every 4 years, and so on and so forth. Outside of that, we do have the school itself, which is in dire need across the board in every aspect, in the academics, as well as in the social, as well as in the structural in regards to the teachers, and then at the same time, the physical structure of the school that they're dwelling. And then at the same time, we as teachers, we also know they have their the students themselves, along with their families, they have a tendency to basically lean on the school, which in turn is the teachers, the administrators, the advisors, and everyone to help them to meet some of their own needs without even telling us, which we are all aware of. So one of the things I want us to consider, to take into consideration, and let's think of how for our next meeting, if we can come up with some ideas, some things in which we can say, well, okay, we know that they have a few projects outlined here to run from now until 2029 to facilitate the 50th anniversary. And yes, we're going to display a little bit of everything in the 50th anniversary. But on the backside, there's still other things that needs to be addressed and needs to be done. So one of the projects and one of the things in which I'm going to charge the advisors as well as the representatives to the UN as well, be it New York, Geneva, or Vienna, for us to think of ways in which we can we can help the school get an actual structure, a physical building set up. There is a blueprint which Dr. Ada will share with us in the group chat on WhatsApp. Myself and Dr. Ada, we've already started working on some stuff to see how best we can get some partners to either sponsor a wing or something that we can be able to put in an actual structure. Once we're able to get the actual structure in, then accommodating the various departments and sections will be easy as well, because now we know where we're putting it. Because I don't want us to say, okay, we're going to do a severe and profound classroom, but then we don't have the actual physical building to put that in. So here it is, we invest in the resources, we bring the resources, and then due to the condition of the structure of the building, the resources get damaged. Dr. Baisini, he has been donating books to us, and I have been moving those books to um, various countries or organizations. This batch here moving forward, the plan is to get this batch into Nigeria, into the school. In order to do that, we do need the funding. As a matter of fact, where I have the books stored, they called me last week and asked me when I'm moving the books because they need their space. So I have to figure out right now, okay, and Dr. Ad is working on that to tell me of a shipping company or something that I can just work with them immediately and have them pick it up and send it off. While it's on sea, we'll figure out the funding part. I've done that with other countries. I've just put the books on the ship and have the books sail. While the books are sailing for that 6 weeks, we're working on finding the funding to pay for it once it lands. I know Dr. Osita, Dr. GD, and Professor Professor, you gentlemen are on. Yes, Miss Professor Mecca, sorry. You gentlemen are over in either Africa or the UK, or you might be back and forth between the US and Africa at the same time. If we can tap into some of the local businesses to say, well, here a shipment of books are coming in, or we want a shipment of this is coming in. How about you sponsor it and we put your name to it as this batch here? So I know the library that we're looking to put together, it was like we're saying this batch of books that is on this library shelf, it was sponsored specifically by this company, this business, and so on and so forth. So it's different things in which we can do, and we all know about these different ideas and ways in which we can accomplish some of these things. But at this junction, if we can start to think of some ways and some things and how we of ourselves can be able to not just bear the title, but at the same time put our hands to the plow. I will let everyone here know something. In the past, we've had individuals who've made promises. And growing up, I always heard a saying, a promise is a comfort to a fool. Now, we were fools, and we are no longer fools. We are no longer fools. So if we can really get because we've tried this in the past, and a lot of folks they've basically come, taken titles, taken credentials, and just disappeared on us. And now I'm not saying those of you here are like that. You're the faithful few. So we thank you for everything, and we know that the time that you will be with us, no matter how long or how short, we know it's a season. So we appreciate everything that you can and will do in that season that God is going to have you a part of Irene Menakaya. So in closing, if we can think of those things, ponder on it, and then if we can meet, let's say, every 2 months? Is that a good time, or would that be too long for the advisory? Because remember, we still have to give the administrative body of the school their time to meet, and then the directors, the board of directors, they still have to meet as well before they can come back to us, the advisors, to let us know, so we now can be able to brainstorm and send back something back to them. So I'm thinking like every 2 months should be some 2 to 3 months should be something appropriate for us. Dr. Bicini, Dr. Greenfield, Dr. Sita, please share your thoughts on that.
Once a quarter.
Quarter, yes.
Once a quarter, good, perfect.
Yes, quarterly meeting, yes.
Good. Okay. So then in that case, then Dr. Ada, your job, your task right now is to go back to the board, go back to the management of the school itself, put together something, and then come back to us, amongst us as the advisory council. We will chat on the flip side, and see what we can come up with and throw back at you. So at least, even though we're going to meet once a quarter, we will still try to see what we can do behind the scenes to support. As you know, I might be unavailable sometimes because for the past few months I've been dealing with some stuff that has really taken away a lot of my attention from everything that I do. So right now, Dr. Ada is asking me for a divorce. So please, people, please advocate for me.
And we divorce with money because we don't have property to share 50-50. I need dollars.
but we do have a lot of work to do for these children, and for someone who is working in one of those school districts, that even though the district have a lot to offer, the recipients, um, some of them don't understand the value of what they have. And there are times I usually have to show them. And I kid you not, I'll pull up some videos from Africa. I'll pull up some videos from Guyana, where I came from back in the days, and show them, say, look, this is where you're sitting right now having school, and this is where some other children are sitting having school. Look, you have a Chromebook that you can type on. Some other students, they barely have a piece of a pencil to write with. So value what you have. And then there's, again, donations can come material wise in terms of books, computers, those kind of things. Between the educators here in the US, some of us I know, we're able to put our hands on some of those things. That school district just contacted me to offer to donate a ton of things. But I'm like, hold on, I got to find recipients, and then I got to find funding to move it. That is the biggest challenge we will always come by. The funding part, the financial part. We can have the world of ID, but the finances is the big part. In closing, officially closing, remember this.
Yeah, before you close, I just want to let us know that the Irene Menakaya School is not, it has ECOSOC, it's not registered here, but Juni and Irene Menakaya Foundation has 5016 status here in the States, which is
Okay.
a sister or foundation of the school.
Okay. So let's just remember this. Access. Joseph had God put him in a position where he can gain access for his family. The family didn't have the resources. The resources were somewhere else. And God took him, God put him in the place where the resources actually were, so he can gain access. For us, some of us, we might not have the resources, but we might have the idea. Some of us, we might have the idea, we might have the resources, but not the idea, vice versa. What we're looking for here now is how we can connect with the people who have the resources to facilitate the idea. Likewise, people who might have the idea that we can benefit from, that's looking for people that have the resources, vice versa. That is one of the things that I want us to take into consideration as we leave here today. Who have the resources? who might have the idea? How can we bring them together? It goes back to SDG 17, which is partnership. Someone have the resource, someone have the idea. It's a matter of partnering them together so that we all can be able to work together in order to provide the needed necessities to those children there in Africa and at the same time outside of Africa. Thank you very much, everyone. Is there any final remarks from anyone before Dr. Ada ends the meeting?
Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Thank you for all. Dr. Jide, you have the floor.
I just want to thank everybody, Professor Bannister.
Now, your voice.
Volume.
I apologize, sir. Can you hear me okay now? Is that better?
Is that better?
Is that better?
Yes.
Okay, I'm sorry about that. Sorry. I just wanted to say thank you to everybody who's given their time in this shared purpose of
You went back again.
Is that better?
Much better. Excellent.
Exactly.
So I just want to thank everybody who's just given their time this morning, and those in Nigeria, the afternoon as well, to just join us in this journey of making Irene Menakaya School, to reflect on its past in the last 50 years, but also the confidence for the future 50 years. So we're really grateful, myself and my sister are very grateful for this effort that you've put in. And also really to agree and to support what Professor Bannister has said, which is to really link into our networks, to really take these conversations forward. So I'm really grateful and thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you, everyone. And our major program coming up soon in the school is the African Day of the Child, which is actually is on June 16, but the school is hosting it on June 17, Tuesday. And we are commissioning flagging the Dr. Finn African Children Cultural Day that day. So we are calling for prizes for the best culturally class, the best cultural child, the best, the children are going to make cultural presentations. So if you want to put your name on the cultural day, please let me know your sponsorship, the prize you want to sponsor, So it's a big ceremony. The cultural rulers are going to be there. The government will be there. The children will perform. So we are going to have that on that June 16, June 17. In fact, I was about to discuss with Dr. Osita and Dr. Emeka Obiozo if we have a conference, virtual conference on that day to talk about this event before the children's celebration on Tuesday. That we are yet to come up with the team because we usually celebrate it every year. The Day of the African Child is immortalizing the cry of African children in Soweto, South Africa in 1976, when the children ran to the road crying for quality education. So these are what brought us to have it as one of the programs of the school, cry for quality education. So thank you so much. And thank you for your time, your contribution, and all the support you've been giving. My friend, Your Excellency Irene, you've been so supportive. Michael, you've been always there. You will call me, Ada, Ambassador, I have books. Can you come and take every time I have books. So all those ones, and everyone has been so supportive to this Irene Menakaya School, Dr. Bannister will also be there on the education days, UNESCO activities on education, and then making ways into the UN, how to reposition in the name of Irene. We have made a lot of statements to the UN in terms of rural education. And interestingly, we are working to move a resolution for UN to have one day out of the 365 days to observe education in rural communities. And all prayers, I ask for your prayers that this resolution should come forth before the 50th anniversary, because that will be a landmark for our ECOSOC status. So please, we are still on it, and we are praying that before the Secretary General leaves office in January 2027, that this resolution will be passed. So help us to pray to God in Jesus' name. Thank you, everyone. Thank you. The Board of the Governing Council, Engineer Chukuma has been on the attendees, maybe he's at work. Dr. Jide and other members of Governing Council who is not here, but they are in support of this. Thank God for their perseverance to immortalize the efforts of our late parents. It's not easy. There are some families that their parents left something and they allow it to die, but we have been persistent that their legacy must not go out of the earth. So I appreciate each and every one of you. We have to continue what we are doing, the Nnamdi Azikiwe University. We also need to get other, like the College of Education that have been on me because of our mother's contribution to stabilizing the institution. So we need to reach out to them and other stakeholders that we want to bring in. Thank you everyone for your time. And I'm thinking that if we say every quarter, the next meeting will be, I don't know, it's August 30th, 2025 or September. Which one do you want us to, or month of September? From now, every quarter is 4 months, right? So every quarter is every 4 months. So it's likely to be.
Quarter is 3 months, madam.
Oh my God, I've forgotten my mathematics. So
See that you have 3 terms in the school year.
yes.
That you have 3 terms. We can choose to meet at the beginning or at the ending of each term, or in the middle of the term, each term. We can do it like that. And then if we need another meeting, we can do that one somewhere in the summer.
Okay, so it started August, okay, at 7:30 a.m.
No. 7:30 a.m. Sometimes you got to remember I have 2 little ones here.
Because of the Nigerian time, you know.
I understand the Nigerian time and I respect my Nigerian brothers and sisters. Nigerian brothers and sisters, please accommodate me, because I have 2 little ones that come and literally jump on my bed at 5 o'clock some morning. So can we do 8 o'clock?
Okay, 8 a.m. fine. 8 a.m. Yes, Your Excellency, Irene, your hand is up.
Dr. Ada, before you close, for the celebration that you're gonna have, the children's celebration, can you put the category in the chat so we can know which category we want to support?
Okay.
For the cultural day. Yeah.
All right.
Say what the categories are, so that way we can know which one we can support. Thank you so much.
I will do that. Thank you so much. God bless you all. And I want to call Ambassador Michael to give us closing prayer. You are muted.
Thank you. Dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful for the opportunity to provide for this school that we are offering our services, our time, our valuable assets to provide and can think and support the 50th anniversary that is coming up. For Father, we are coming to you because you know ways that we don't know at this time. But Father, we're coming to you in these prayers to provide the services that we need to make the school a little bit better in each and every year, in each and every quarter. Father, we are blessed in these ambassadors and these wonderful leaders in this effort. And Father, we ask this in your name, we pray. Amen.
Amen. Amen. Thank you, everyone. God bless you all.
God bless you.
Happy weekend.
Thank you.
Ambassador, see you in another meeting tonight, this evening. Ambassador Irene.
Yes. Yes, I'll see you at 6.
God bless you at 6 p.m.
Amen.
Thank you. Before getting
Bye-bye.